Talk to a serious practitioner about their results. Watch what happens. They'll pause, smile slightly, look somewhere past you, and then not quite answer. It's not that they're hiding something. It's that what happened to them doesn't translate easily into words, and they already know how it's going to sound. Most people come to Magick asking the wrong question. Does it work? What they mean is, did you get the job, the money, the relationship, the thing you wanted? And the honest answer is, sometimes yes, sometimes not exactly, sometimes something better. But that's not what makes the experienced practitioner pause. What makes them pause is the second thing that happened, the thing they weren't expecting, the change they didn't ask for. There's a debate that runs through every occult forum, every esoteric discussion group, every comment section under every video about this subject. Is it ethical to use magic for personal gain? Should a theurgical practice, communion with forces considerably more complex than most people can imagine, be used to what? Get a raise, find a partner, build a better life? Some practitioners draw a hard line. Keep the work pure. Keep it spiritual. Others argue the opposite. The universe wants you to flourish. Both camps have a point. Both are missing something. Here's the technical reality most sides tend to skip. When you engage in consistent ritual practice, any legitimate system, the Golden Dawn, thelema, well-structured ceremonial magic, you are not only performing operations on external reality, you are restructuring the operator. The ritual isn't just a transmission going out, it is a recalibration happening in. The Qabalistic model makes this explicit. The Tree of Life is a map of the cosmos. More importantly, though, it is a map of the human psyche. Every sephira is a mode of consciousness. Every path is a process of perception. Work the system consistently enough, and the system works you back. This is what Damien Eccles understood inside a prison cell in Arkansas. No tools, no formal temple, no lineage support, just the practice. And the man who walked out was not the man who walked in. Not because the universe handed him what he wanted like some sort of astral vending machine, because the work changed the hardware of the person doing the wanting. That is what practitioners can't easily explain. That is the result they don't talk about. Let's get specific. On the spiritual side, consistent practice does something that is genuinely difficult to describe in ordinary language. It quiets the interface. The kind of quiet where, for the first time, maybe ever, you can hear what you actually want, what you actually value, what you are actually here to do. The tradition calls this true will. It is not ambition, it is not desire, it is the deeper current running beneath both. Most people spend their entire lives running programs that were written by someone else. Parents, culture, fear, trauma, the voice in the head that sounds like you but isn't. Magic interrupts that signal. Rituals, even the foundational ones, the ones beginners dismiss as too simple, are deconditioning tools at the core. The LBRP, the middle pillar, the Rose Cross ritual, each one is a process for stripping away false identification and reinforcing something more real in its place. After enough practice, synchronicities multiply because your perception has sharpened enough to notice patterns that were always present. You start meeting the right people at the right time because you're coherent. Your life begins moving in one direction because you do. That is a spiritual benefit, a real one, and it requires no apology. Now, the material side, because there is one, isn't it selfish to use magic for personal gain? Here's the honest answer. That question contains a hidden assumption that doesn't survive examination. When a surgeon sharpens their skill, no one calls that selfish. When an engineer optimizes a system, no one demands an apology for the precision. Magick is a technology for developing a more effective human operator. And an effective operator does not stay stuck. Here's what consistent practice actually produces in the external world and why it has nothing to do with luck or wishful thinking. Decision-making sharpens, not through psychic powers, through the developed capacity to separate what you actually want from what you fear. Most bad decisions are fear wearing the mask of logic. The practice removes the mask. Relationships shift. Low resonance connections fall away. Higher resonance people appear. This is the vibrational consequence of transmitting a cleaner signal. Change what you're broadcasting. Change who responds. Obstacles become information instead of stops. The practitioner who is consciously engaged with resistance through banishing work, through path working, through deliberate examination of the shadow, handles setbacks differently. Not because they feel less, because they understand more. And material reality tends to follow function, not through vision boards, not through manifesting abundance, through the compounding effect of better decisions, clearer direction, and the quiet confidence of someone who has developed a relationship with the invisible architecture of reality. You still do the work in the physical world. Magick doesn't replace strategy. It sharpens the operator doing the strategizing. Is it selfish to want a better life? Only if you believe you don't deserve one. The tradition disagrees considerably. Here's what both sides of this argument tend to miss. The spiritual and the material are not in conflict. They never were. The Hermetic axiom has been sitting in plain sight for 2,000 years. As above, so below. The inner work creates outer change as mechanism. A practitioner who has developed genuine inner coherence, who has done the actual work, not just read about it, moves through the world differently, builds differently, creates differently, relates differently. That is not selfishness. That is the entire point of the system. The tradition was designed to produce a more powerful, more aligned, more fully realized human being, operating at an actual capacity, living an actual life. And yes, sometimes that means a better job, better relationships, more resources, a life that finally looks like something worth living. The tradition is not embarrassed by that. Neither should you be. This is what practitioners don't say out loud because it sounds too good, too convenient, too much like what people want to hear. And wizards, more than anyone, know the difference between what sounds good and what is real. If any of this has landed somewhere real, if you have been circling this work, reading about it, watching videos, buying books that sit on a shelf, and you're ready to move from the surface into the actual operating system, the Mage Space Golden Dawn course is over 100 structured videos. The mechanics, the actual technical substrate of the Western magical tradition, mapped, explained, and sequenced for practitioners who are ready to go below the user interface. The link is below, along with the free LBRP training, which is, whether you know it yet or not, where this work actually begins. The work is here. The only question is whether you are.